I remember just feeling a bit stuck, like at a ceiling, and there was other people in the industry who I would see crushing it, doing $100 million a year, making millions of dollars, and I was always felt like, man, I'm just as good as them, or I have the same amount of knowledge, but why am I not making that kind of money? Why am I not speaking on that stage or doing those things? And what I realized is in 2018 was that it's not the best loan officer who wins. It's the most known loan officer, right? It's the people who have more relationships, who are just more referred, who have get bigger opportunities. So I just think about being known is the most important thing it was back then and as it is today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and a very special guest. We are at Universal Studios Orlando. It's MortgageCon 2026. This guy is from Reno, Nevada. Today he resides in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you ask me, I call him the Gary Vee of the mortgage industry. He is one of T-Lop's newest friends, Neel Dhingra. Neel, welcome to T-Lop.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro.
Dude, I'm so happy we get to do this. I've had your brother on the show. Like 2 years ago, Arjun and I were both at the Gathering Housing Wires event.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he was one of those people that I didn't know in real life, and he didn't know me in real life, but we both followed each other.
Yeah.
And I remember when he was on, I'm like, dude, I got to get your brother on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. You're speaking at MortgageCon 2026.
Yep.
And you and I get to hang out for 20 minutes before our friend Renee Rodriguez takes the main stage.
That's it, bro.
I'm so curious about introducing my audience to you. And many of them have heard of you because I drop your name pretty often because you're someone that I follow when it comes to content. But you weren't always a content creator.
That's right. Yeah. So I spent the first probably 2/3 of my career just doing the traditional shaking hands, kissing babies, making calls, knocking on doors. And,
as a mortgage lender.
As a lender, as a loan officer, and still have a license. We still have a branch and a team. But I remember just feeling a bit stuck, like at a ceiling, and there was other people in the industry who I would see crushing it, doing $100 million a year, making millions of dollars, and I always felt like, man, I'm just as good as them, or I have the same amount of knowledge, but why am I not making that kind of money? Why am I not speaking on that stage or doing those things? And what I realized is in 2018 was that it's not the best loan officer who wins. It's the most known loan officer, right? It's the people who have more relationships, who are just more referred, who have get bigger opportunities. So I just think about being known is the most important thing it was back then and as it is today, right?
So this was 2018.
Yes.
You're originating loans and you're recognizing that these other people aren't smarter, they're not more experienced, they can't structure deals or consult borrowers better than you.
Yeah.
But they're better known. So you tried to figure out how you in Reno, Nevada at the time could become better known.
Correct. And so I'm not the type of person who's going to be like super outgoing. I was an introvert, kind of a nerd behind the scenes, solving deals, that kind of thing. I was really good at systems, really good at like email marketing, subject line optimization. Back in the day when I first got in the business, we were good at like mailers, how do we get people to open our mail piece? And they would, all just hacks, marketing hacks. So that's where my thing was. It was about how do we hack attention? And then so I just fell into video content because I was like, well, this could be the next thing. What I didn't realize was it's kind of hard to put yourself out there. And also, it didn't come naturally to me. So I'd love to tell you like, oh dude, I just did this and it crushed. The first year I spent pretty much making shitty videos. Like
the whole year.
Yeah, pretty much nobody watched them. The good news is if you're trying to make content and you suck at it, nobody sees it. So that's a good thing.
I like that mindset.
Yeah. So I just started doing it, and then I started to slowly see, oh man, I love your content, or hey bro, I took action because of this, or hey, I have a referral for you, and I started to see just little hints of
You're getting those small wins.
Yes, I would go to like a local thing and they'd be like, dude, you're the guy with the videos, right? And I'm like, yeah. And so I started, just the wheels started turning in my head like, hey, I suck at this and it's starting to work. Imagine if I got just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people, I think this is the issue, bro, with our business. And it's probably true for most businesses. The people who struggle have a short payoff window. So for example, like I'm going to start doing something. If I don't see a return in 30, 60, 90 days, I'm done.
It's versus going
versus thinking
12,
of
24, 36 months.
I think of the people who make the most money, the wealthiest people I know, the most successful. They have a long payoff window. They're like, I'm just going to do this for the next decade. Yeah. I'm going to do this. This is just who I am. I'm becoming a good communicator. And so it's about the skills, not necessarily the outcome.
Yeah,
You know, so I just wanted to, what I realized was I just need to lock in and just get good at communication.
Who are you molding yourself after? Like who back in 2018 when you made this conscious decision to pivot into a certain direction, were there people in the space that you were looking up to or maybe even learning from?
Well, I would just see like, I remember going to like a bomb conference at the time. There was like a video app that people use, and I was just seeing the influencers within the industry, and especially more in real estate. There was a lot more in real estate than at the time and than mortgage.
Yes.
And so a lot of those guys were making content. And then I started, obviously following people like Gary Vee, and he was saying, man, if you're not doing this, you're going to get smoked. And so I was like, man, I really need to get into it.
Yeah, you have a really cool Gary Vee story. I don't know if we have time to get into it in depth, but like you wanted to surround yourself with people that you wanted to be more like. Gary Vee's one of those people. Can you share with the audience like how you first met Gary Vee?
Well, so I remember just seeing his content and doing all this stuff, and then there was two opportunities that came my way. The first time was he was promoting, and this is, by the way, this is a hack for anybody to connect with anybody influential. They probably are super busy. They have money. They're you can't like buy their program and go meet them. Like, typically they're either doing something that you can support or they have a product that you could support.
Yeah.
So the hack is if you ever want to connect with somebody who's maybe more influential, is just to become a customer.
Okay.
So whatever that is. Like, so I remember, hey, I want to meet with these people. They're putting on an event. Well, what if I bought the most expensive ticket and got in the VIP room? I could probably go, I could probably have an audition, shake their hand, go maybe ask to shoot a podcast, maybe ask to shoot a quick video if you don't have so I would just take all these opportunities. So I remember watching Instagram one day, and Gary's like, he was promoting a K-Swiss sneaker at the time. Like he had a deal with them for like sneakers.
I was like, bro, it makes sense now.
It's crazy, but I don't think he talks about this anymore, but he had like 3 Gary Vee sneakers. It was like for entrepreneurs. And so he's like, I want to be at the top of their number one seller this year. So I need your help, my audience. Buy sneakers. And then for the people that are willing to do bulk orders, you can come hang out at my office.
There we go.
And
so this is that signature story I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah. So they ended up, he ended up like, I remember buying like hundreds of K-Swiss sneakers. And then
did you donate them to like less fortunate kids?
Yeah. So I remember I found I was like, well, what am I going to do with all these things? I guess I could flip them on eBay, somebody told me, or you could give them away to your clients. I ended up buying all kids sizes, and then I donated them to schools in Southern California.
That's so cool.
And so they just gave out Gary Vee sneakers.
But by you doing that, you then had an opportunity to go to Gary Vee's
so I went to his studio, and then they picked like a few people to go chat with him, and he, they told him, hey, Neel gave all the sneakers to the kids. It was a cool story to tell. And anyways, I got like a chance to film a video with him. Yeah. I think it's on my YouTube channel as my oldest video. So if you go to my YouTube and search by oldest, you'll find it still. It should be there. This was, dude, I think that was 7-8 years ago now or something like that. But
so
it's
cool.
Crazy.
But at this standpoint, I mean, I've seen you've had Gary at your events.
Yeah, we've done podcasts with him. We've had him at an event, and it was cool. But it all started by me supporting the thing that he is. And it's like somebody will say, well, you're buying your friends. Well, no, like if somebody's super busy, they have things that they're doing, but that's how you can get on the radar. Just support their products and services.
Correct. Yeah, I once had someone tell me that he made a conscious decision to only fly first class. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, that's expensive. He's like, but is it? He goes, it's that one flight where I sit next to that one person.
Well, let me just tell you this, bro. I'm so glad you brought this up, bro. Dustin, this is awesome. So this just happened to me yesterday. So I'm flying from Las Vegas to Orlando, right, on JetBlue. Oh. Well, JetBlue, they have Mint. It's like a first class, but it's actually really nice compared to, you get domestic first class sometimes, and it's like you just get a bigger seat.
I mean, like on Southwest, first class is like the exit row.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's okay, but so JetBlue has a upgraded.
They have like an actual first class, which looks like international first class.
Yeah.
So you can actually get work done. They give you a full meal, like drinks, all the whole nine. So anyways, I get on the plane, and I'm sitting down, and then I hear a voice behind me. And I was like, dude, I recognize that voice. And it's Andre Agassi and his wife, Steph Graf.
No way.
Steffi Graf, yeah. And they're sitting right behind me on the plane in first class. So I was like, I'm like, dude, I'm a huge fan because when I was growing up, I was a tennis player for a little bit. I suck, but I was still like a huge fan. Watched, U.S. Open, watched Wimbledon with my family. And he was like my hero, bro, coming up. And then I read his book in 2009 or 2010. And there's so many cool stories of overcoming adversity, and he was at number 1, fell down, came back up. But anyways, all that to say is I was thinking, hey, I want to talk to him, but I don't want to bother him right now because him and his wife are just like resting. So I just waited till we landed. And then I was like, bro, I'm a huge fan. Just started talking to him. And then long story short, he's probably going to come to Forward this summer.
That's crazy. And by the way, let's talk about your Forward event. For those that don't know, we're kind of giving you a crash course into Neel Dhingra, which on Instagram, you're Neel Home.
Yes.
Right? Neel Home, Neelhome. But you have this event that you're doing. This is your 5th time doing the event?
This is our 6th year.
6th year doing the event.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? We're going to tease it a little bit. We're going to talk about this event, but before we do, we're going to take a quick pause so that we can hear from today's show sponsor. Y'all, something big is happening at Lower Mortgage. And if you're paying attention to this industry, you've probably noticed. In just the last month alone, Lower has added some serious horsepower. We're talking top producers representing over $350 million in volume. These aren't rookies kicking tires. These are heavy hitters who've done their homework and made the move. That should tell you something. On top of that, Lower just acquired Movoto, a top 5 real estate portal with over 150 visitors just last year. Before that, they brought in Neat Labs, and now they're launching Lower OS, a next-gen mortgage platform that's cutting loan delivery times down to 10 days. This isn't a company standing still. Lower doubled their volume last year, and they're projecting another 40 to 50% growth this year. The best in the business are taking notice, and they're voting with their feet. Here's the reality. The companies that are going to win in this market are the ones investing in technology, building real infrastructure, and competing at scale. Lower is doing all of that. They're going head to head with the Rockets of the world, and they're built for originators, not against them. If you're a producer who wants to be a part of something that's actually going somewhere, not just surviving, but growing, this is the moment. Lower Mortgage, the momentum is real. You can check them out and find more information by going to company.lower.com. Or you can always reach out to my dude, Craig Montgomery, and make sure you tell him T-Lop said what's up. All right, so we're back. Walk us through your event. It's coming up in July. We're recording this. It's January 2026. It'll be your 6th year doing it. What is the event? We call it Forward, but like, how do you explain the benefits to those who attend the event?
So let me just tell you that getting in the room, like I was talking about, is one of the best things you can do for yourself, your business, your mindset, because we've really worked hard over the years to assemble the right group of people. These are like-minded, growth-minded people. Some of them are making millions of dollars. Some of them are the rising stars. It doesn't matter, but there's no ego. Everyone's here to help each other. So the attendees is probably the most underrated part, because it took many years for me to kind of attract that community, but now we've got it locked in. So that's the first part. And then the next part is the people we bring in are people you wouldn't expect. So like right now we're at MortgageCon, which is awesome, by the way, and I love what they've done here.
And it's by far one of the coolest events of the year.
It is cool, and it's just different.
Yes.
You know, like everybody's doing the same shit, and these guys are doing something different. Like even this podcast is different.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, we're in a yurt. Is that what you call it? Like
that's
a
right,
yurt
bro.
that they built out for us.
So we just do things different at Forward.
Yeah.
Like I think about the people we serve in the mortgage industry and real estate industry is, I would call them the industry misfits. So if you've ever felt like, hey man, I don't quite fit in the box that this industry puts us in, or I'm tired of the same old, I want to try something new, then you should come to Forward, because it's totally different.
Yeah, and
the
it's
people
not
that we
a
bring
mortgage
in,
event, right?
No, it's not specific, but I would say 50% of the audience is in the mortgage industry.
Okay.
Maybe 60%, and then the rest is real estate, financial services, entrepreneurs, coaches, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine, shout out to Brett Young, but Brett's been to your event, and Brett runs a pretty successful independent insurance brokerage here in the state of Florida, right?
100%. And people bring their family, like their wife. Like you would get so much business and marketing knowledge, but you'd also get your mind right. And what's cool about it is it's just fun.
Yeah.
And I just think that the environment in which you receive information has a big impact on how you're able to take action. And so for so many people over the years, Forward has been the place where they literally had to hit a fork in the road. They're like, bro, ever since Forward, I do this little thing different. It's not about changing everything, but it's like small tweaks that bring big leaps.
Yeah,
so I just think
but
it's
Forward,
dope, yeah.
Forward is for those that want to focus on their personal brand, that want to
Yeah.
lean into content as a way to continue to promote their business, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not for everybody. I would say, like, if you prefer the traditional corporate thing, then you would not come. Like I remember last year somebody said this event's too loud in the beginning, and I was like, well, we could change it for that one person.
No.
Or we could keep it for the other 1,000 people who are here.
Well, here's my best way of explaining it. And I just said this. So you met my business partner, Mike, a minute ago.
Yeah.
Right? So Mike was my marketing agency that when I decided to go all in on all things TLOP, I recognized like I didn't have all of the right people in my world. And I couldn't afford Mike. So I did what anyone else would do. I gave him 15% of the company. Yeah. Right? But I've been telling Mike about you and about your event because his background is web dev, it's small business. I mean, the guy owns a vodka company. He owns a electric golf cart company. He owns his marketing agency. I mean, the guy has his hands in many different aspects, but he's an entrepreneur and he's a marketing guy. So here's what I told Mike. I said, Mike, if you love Alex Hormozi, you'll love this event. Yeah. And you've had Alex at your event.
Yeah, we did last year. So there's a lot of great talent. This year, I will tell you, is our best year ever as far as the people coming. But, like typically I would tell people, like, go to this website and get this ticket. That's not the way this works. The way it works is on March 26th of this year. So I don't know when this podcast is airing, but if it's before March 26th, hopefully.
This will be airing, in February.
Okay, cool. So March 26th, we do a live launch on Zoom with thousands of people from the industry. And I'm going to bring some of the speakers on. There's a party. We're giving away stuff. It's going to be a huge virtual event. But on that date is when you can get a ticket on March 26th.
This has such
But you can't get a ticket before then.
Has such an Alex Hormozi influence right there.
Yeah.
I made my entire team read or listen to his latest book.
Yeah.
And he did his massive launch for that.
Yeah, this will be a fraction of that size. But still, it's the same concept.
Yes.
Which is, if something's really important to you, why do you just roll it out like you don't care? Like, hey, guys, go to the site and get a ticket. That wouldn't be doing my event any justice because it's so much more than that. So we're rolling it out with a bang this year.
I love that.
A big reveal on the 26th of March.
Okay.
And if you want to go there, the link you can go to forwardevent.com or neelsbigday.com.
Neel's Big Day, and it's Neel, Neel.
Yes, Neel's
Big Day. Don't throw an I in there. Let's talk about this. I love your newsletter, by the way. Thank you for putting that out there.
Yeah.
Like I receive your newsletter. It comes out every Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday or Monday. Yeah, we send it out every single week, 52 weeks a year, and it's 60 to 90 seconds depending on how quick you read. And it's just one tip that would help you in your marketing this week.
Yeah, if someone wanted to sign up for that, what's the website?
Just go to neelhome.com. So NEELHOME and put the www in there, and you'll be able to get that every single week. Every Sunday we send that out.
So let's do this. We have at least 5 minutes before you and I have to find a way to put a bow on this and go watch our friend Renee do his thing.
Yes, sir.
Let's give the audience some freebies, right? So doing what you do for a living now, which I know you still do mortgages, but when I look at you, no, you're helping people like me become better at content creation.
Yeah.
You're helping people like me.
And by the way, bro, thank you for what you do for the industry because you're putting out, like, you're not doing this for the money. You're putting it out there to help the industry move forward. And so that's the people I really respect because, if anybody knows media in our industry, you have to love it.
Yes.
Because you're not getting paid to do this stuff. You have to really have a love for helping people and get a lot of fulfillment out of it. And I remember losing money on content and media and events for probably the first 2-3 years before it started to become like an actual business.
Well, you hit the nail on the head earlier on in today's episode where we were talking about, like, it's a long game.
Yeah, it's a long
game.
Right?
I mean, our friend Amir says all the time, it's a game of chess, not a game of checkers, right?
That's right, bro.
So I was able to do content for 5 years. Dude, I was running $1 billion production region. I didn't need the money. Right? I wasn't doing it for money. I was doing it because I was bored. I was doing it because I was looking around and the people that were left to learn from were, no offense, people I looked up to 20 years ago, you looked up to.
Yeah.
Right? I love Todd Duncan. Right? I love Dave Ramsey. Right? Greg Frost, rest in peace. I mean, there's so many people that I looked up to, but where's that 26-year-old going for their information?
Yeah.
And I didn't see people that I thought would resonate. So I just said, well, screw it. Let me start putting out content. If I'm any good, the people let me know. And if I suck, as long as I'm having fun, I'll continue doing it. And we finally, you probably don't know this, but just 2 months ago, I finally retired from production altogether because I want to lean even harder into content coaching and consulting.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring I'm 47. I have another 8 years left in me. I want to spend the next 8 years truly shaping the future of the mortgage industry. And I really want to be like, if Joe Rogan and Dave Ramsey had a baby, like, that's what I want this to be.
That's
it's
dope,
everything you and I learned because we became loan officers. So it's less of a show for LOs, although a ton of LOs love our content. It's more about, hey, this is what I learned about life and business by becoming an LO.
Bro, I love that.
So you going around teaching, what are some basics that the people should know, whether you're a realtor, financial advisor, insurance agent, or you're a loan officer, mortgage broker? What are some things about content and personal brand that very basic beginner that you would make sure any student of yours would understand?
Well, here's the thing. Even the people who wouldn't consider themselves beginners, like, would you be open to me giving you feedback on this?
Yes.
Okay, so even when and I'm sure you guys do something when you put these episodes out where you would, maybe even tell people what's to come, or maybe even pick a snippet from the video or the audio and put it up front. But I would just tell you that one thing that I struggle with, and I think all of us do, is we provide too much context in the beginning. So it's like people are coming to your podcast. Yeah, they know it's the Loan Officer Podcast.
Yep.
And then I remember doing these long intros and talking about setting the table, and then getting into the combo. What I found is when I cut those down, and at first I cut them from like a minute to 45 seconds, and then I cut it to 30 seconds, and then I cut it to 20 seconds. The more I cut it, Dustin, the more views, the more reach, the more downloads we got.
So shorter videos.
So not shorter videos. I'm saying get into the meat quicker.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like literally it would be like this. It'd be like you would start with a hook almost.
Yes.
So instead of introducing this, you would start with addressing the audience.
Okay.
Or dropping a hook with me. So you'd be like, man, if you're struggling to get yourself known, like if you're struggling, or if you ever felt like you were stuck in here, I think the next 30 minutes are going to help. Like start with something that would grab them in, because that would take the casual listener or viewer and make them want to watch and continue. What's happening now is if somebody knows you, they stick around because they know there's good shit to come. But if the person got forwarded, so you have to think about this. You need to start, everybody here should listen to this. If you're watching, listening, make content for strangers. If they were to come to you on the first time, this is the audition. So you and I should think, somebody's watching or listening to this right now for the very first time. They don't know you, they don't know me.
Okay.
We're on an audition with that person. What are we going to do with that? If you and I say, hey, for the first 2-3 minutes, we're just going to talk about, where we're at, what
Correct.
we're doing.
Yeah, your background.
Yeah, but they're going to leave, so
Okay.
we need to leave with something. We can definitely insert the context, but I found too many people are leading with the context, and then you lose everybody.
So it's interesting, and thank you for this advice, because if you go through the previous 100 episodes, we're on like episode 599 or something, but the last 100, I was doing some form of a soft open, where I would say like right to the camera, one-on-one. You're not going to want to miss today's episode, especially if you're somebody who's wanting to lean into content creation or your personal brand, because I have one of our industry's biggest, most well-known experts.
Yeah, or even start with the question. Say, or call out the thing. I call it the dog whistle. Call out the problem you're about to solve. So you say like, man, if you're a loan officer or real estate agent and you've ever struggled with, how do you make content that actually gets you clients? How do you make content, or how do you get more known in your market so that you can explode your business? Well, you're like, now we're going to get into it, and so you call out the thing. That's an easy one to do.
Okay.
Another hook that's really good right now is to make an observation. So what happens is a lot of times you and I will talk about content, and this might be a short video I post on Instagram, 30-40 seconds. Again, I'll start with expertise. I'll be like, hey man, these are the 3 things you need to do if you want to blow up your business this year. Now, if you know Neel, then you're going to watch that video because you're like, bro, I want to hear what you got to say. But again, if I'm on an audition, think about this. I put my audition out. Well, now somebody's like, well, who are you to tell me this? I've never seen you before. Maybe you're good, maybe not. And some of them might stick around, but I found that a lot of people are either out loud asking or subconsciously asking, hey, is this true? They're questioning everything. I mean, if you go on social media today, there's so much stuff coming from different voices. Somebody will see a video and they'll be like, oh, that's not real. It's AI. Yeah. Somebody will say, is that even true? So everybody's second guessing. So we are in what's called a trust recession right now.
Okay, I like this
People
term.
don't trust people anymore. They don't trust the market. They don't trust politicians. They don't trust us.
Correct.
And so how do we get over that? The way you can ease into expertise is to start with an observation. So that's one of the things I'm going to be teaching the group today is like, okay, let's start with an observation. Hey, did you know that have you heard of this psychological phenomenon? Have you heard of this? Or start with a headline. Just make an observation about the market, something that's happening, and then you insert your expertise behind that.
So that slows them down.
Correct. So let's just say if I were to say top 3 things that you need to do to grow your business. Or I could say this. Here's something I noticed from my wealthiest friends.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Here's something I learned from a guy that's worth $100 million. Or this guy that scaled his business, and he just told me something I'll never forget. Like that's something you're gonna stick around to watch.
Well, and I love your newsletter, and I'm not. By the way, I'm not paid to promote Neel's newsletter.
Yeah.
But like your newsletter is 90 seconds of those types of tips. I have a folder I can show it to you. It's called Neel's Tips, and every single newsletter.
Bro, by the
gets
way,
slid
this is one of 100 things anybody could do to just dominate this year. So I'm just giving you guys a little sneak peek. But yeah, that's what I do every week. Is I put that tip in the weekly newsletter, and again, I'm on an audition with people.
Yeah.
You might be reading my email for the first time, and so I know I need to give you something tangible that would help you and help you crush it. So the same thing is true for email, video, podcast, long form, short form. You need to grab people in first. Otherwise, if it's too casual or, people aren't going to stick around.
What do you say to the person that says, I don't like myself on camera, I don't like how I look, I don't like how I sound?
Well, I think it's just a numbing process, and you get used to it over time. I'm sure you and I both dealt with it. Like, hey, I hated the way my voice sounded, all that stuff. So the way I think about this is like, hey, I'm coming from a place of service. It's not about me. It's about the people I could help. That's what you have to think about. Like, it's almost egotistical of you to be worried about every single lighting thing. Imagine, like, who are we, bro? Yeah. We're 44,
correct.
You're 47-year-old law officers.
Yeah.
We don't have the best lighting right now.
No.
But we're still imagine if you said, bro, hey, Neel, we're canceling the podcast today because the lighting was bad.
No, we don't do that.
Exactly.
No.
So
well,
that's
guys like you
a
and I
diva.
especially don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you may want to steal this. So much of what most of us do is a swipe and adapt. Anyhow, I love to tell people that is how you look, that is how you sound, and we love you. Yeah. Right? You're not making content for you. You're making content for us.
I will say that there are some tips you can do to make yourself a little bit to just improve the quality of your content. Without having to go buy thousands of dollars worth of equipment. So the first thing is just to wipe the lens of the camera, because this gets oil on our face and our hair. So I've just found if you wipe this lens, it's probably goes from an iPhone 5 to an iPhone 15.
Literally mind blown. Yeah. Step one, wipe your lens.
Yeah, and then the next thing is to just get some lighting, and then you could see yourself in a more clear light. I would not use like a ring light. I would get like a soft light, something like that. And then one quick hack, and I do this all the time, is to shoot to the back camera of the iPhone.
Yes.
The back camera is so much better than the front selfie camera.
My 18-year-old daughter had to teach me that one.
Yeah.
But then when she looked at me, she goes, "You're such a boomer." I'm like, "Well, not quite, babe, but I'm close to being a boomer."
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey, let's do this, because I know that it sounds like they're getting ready to start.
Yeah.
You and I got in early this morning before MortgageCon kicked off.
Yes, sir.
Renee's getting ready to hit the stage. I can see the intro video starting to play. If people need to follow you, one last time, how do they follow you?
So just go to Instagram, look me up, Neel Home, hit and shoot me a DM. If you heard me on this podcast, send me a DM. And I'll send you some stuff. I'll send you some free stuff.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
yeah,
shoot him a DM. Tell him T-Lop's the best. Neel, I so appreciate your time. Y'all, I'm Dustin Owen. You've just tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast. If you're tuning in for the first time because you're friends with Neel, do me a favor. Go to my YouTube channel. It is chock full of free content. And click that subscribe button. If you're tuning in on Apple or you're tuning in on Spotify, give us a 5-star review. That's how we tell other people that this content doesn't suck. He's Neel Dhingra. I'm Dustin Owen. That's all the time we have for you today. But we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.